So welcome back to my channel. This is Gamer Dom, and I hope everybody has a view on what are the best tanks in the game. You know, and I've done some charts around each tier about best damage inflicting, best experience earning, those kind of things, looking at VB Addict's website to compile data from all the servers over the last 30 days, looking at all the players registered with them in terms of, you know, their performance and how their tanks played, even down to how different maps have been played. And I thought, what would be interesting, let's have a look at what's the winningest tanks in the game right now. Now, it is a little bit skewed because some of these tanks are quite rare, but let's have a look at the the top 5 tanks with the best win rate in the game right now. There might be one or two surprises for you. Let's get going. So, looking at VB Addict's stats for the last 30 days, the number 5 in the charts for the top win rate tanks of all classes, of all tiers in the game right now is this thing. This is number 5. This is a T18 EF30. This is a tier 4 no, it's not preferential. Tier 4 premium Russian heavy tank. It comes out every so often. It features a big ass gun on it for a tier 4. This thing has a tier 6 gun, an 85mm gun, 120 penetration, 160 with the skill rounds, 160 average damage. Bear in mind this thing is going up against, well, potentially tier 2s. Just scary, just scary. And it's HE shell as well. 43 millimeters of penetration will get through most of the lower tier tanks it's going to face, and 280 will certainly one-shot them all. Very, very effective at stat padding, shall we say. And this thing is not that well played, reasonably though. 4,116 games in the last 30 days, averaging 56.76% win rate. I'm slightly up on that. I'm on a 57 with mine. So anyway, there you go. That is number 5. I'm almost loath to show that I have this little bastard in my garage. So at number 4 for the winningest tank across all servers right now is the Mini Mouse. This is the Panzer II-J, the infamous Panzer II-J. This thing, it's a light tank in classification, German tier 3 premium light tank. It only sees tier 4s. It's got no gun on it. This gun is pathetic. You have to fire premium in it. 20mm gun, penetration of 23, 46 when you hit the skill rounds, but it fires them at a blistering rate like a machine gun. And before you know it, you burnt through a ton of credits if you go around spamming gold, which you kind of have to. But why this thing is a brute is its armor. This thing down at tier 3 is almost impregnable. 80mm frontal armor, 80mm on the turret, 50 on the side, 50 of the rear. Tanks just cannot penetrate this that it goes up against. Artillery, a bit of its foe, but you know, then you put spore liner on it, and that's less of an issue. In fact, these things, when two of them go together, it's like watching your grandparents having sex. It just is a pointless exercise. They can't pen each other very easily. There used to be a couple of weak spots on this thing. That was one, I think. There used to be one on the back of the turret, if I recall rightly, and Wargaming in the infinite wisdom buffed it. So it's a real stat padder's delight. 1,618 games, 57.22% win rate. I'm on 58, so I'm up above it. So it's a bloody expensive tank. Well, actually, it's one of these fallacy packages that Wargaming love to offer. They will offer you a huge amount of gold and then throw the tank in for free, inverted commas, on top. It's only ever available every so often. Don't buy it. It's a pointless tank. I have played a fair bit of it. In my dark days of being a bit too excited about this game, I bought this when I thought, well, actually I could use all that gold over the course of a year. And frankly, I did, but I think I used it within about 6 months, because it's sitting there, you use it, don't you? Anyway, I'm not proud, and I haven't played it for a long time, but it's there, it's number 4 in terms of winningest rate. God, I was making some feeble excuses there, wasn't I? It's a game, for fuck's sake. So number 3 for win rates across all games in the last 30 days and all tanks comes this little brute. This is the VK7201K, a tier 10 German heavy tank. You could only get this as a reward tank for Clan Wars. Very similar to the Panzer 7, I think it is, but differenter. People rate this very highly, and when I did my chart of the top 10 or top heavy tanks for damage dealing, this thing came very high indeed. It's a bit of a brute. It's got a monster gun on it. Let's have a look at... Oh, they've changed all the layout of this thing. There you go, 150mm gun, giving... what is penetration? God, I can't find anything on this now. They've changed it all. God damn it, they've changed... There we go. 246 penetration with stand around, but you're never going to use that, are you? Because if you got this, you're probably a stat twat. 350 when you hit the skill key, 750 average damage, 0.4 dispersion, 2.9 aim time. It's a bruiser. You get in front of people, you blow their heads off. That's what it's for. Armor, 240 average armor on the front, 160 on the side, 120 on the rear. Turret's only 200 on the front, but it is quite well rounded, and that's quite a big gun mantle. So 5,032 games in the last 30 days, giving it a win rate of 58.13%. So that's number 3. So number 2 for the best win rates in the game right now is another premium tank. This is the rare KV-222 Russian tier 5 heavy tank. This is a preferential matchmaking tank. It will only see tier 6 as a maximum. It's it's basically a KV-1 turret on a KV-3 hull. The hull of this thing, if you come up against one of these things, and it is a premium tank, you'll only ever see it every so often. The hull of it is 120mm, down at tier 5, for goodness sake. 100 on the rear, 100 on the side, so you can't even circle the thing. If you see this, the only way to pen it when you're in lower tier is get on the side and hit this turret and the side. 75 only on the turret, 90 on the front. So I'm quite flat on the side and rear, so you got your best chance of penning this is go for the turret, which seems a bit... Your gut instinct is always far at the hull. That's what they want you to do. So 2,350 games in total, 58.68 average win rate. I'm just about on that, 56% for my one. It doesn't have a very gun. Another one of these ones that the cynic amongst us would say wargaming is introduced to get us to spend gold on extra powerful shells, because this has a 99 penetration with a standard round, 121 with premium, and so it can't even pen itself unless it goes premium, and even then with RNG chances are it won't manage to do that very often, and only 110 average damage. So it's a rapid firing gun, 14 rounds per minute. Dispersion is horrible, 0.46, so it's up close and personal, but you will be in this thing if you're driving it. I have to say it's terrific fun to play. It's not completely overpowered, but it kind of reminds you a little bit of how the KV-5 used to be in its glory days. This thing still has the ability to terrorize the battlefield when it fights, and certainly if you're a stat padder, you want to roll it out more often. Maybe I should do that just to get my win rate up. So coming in at number 1 for the most winningest tank in the game right now is this thing. This is the Object 907, a Russian tier 10 medium tank. Russian bias. It was a reward tank. You could only get it if you your clan did very well in the Clan Wars, and it's a absolute brute. One of the best medium tanks, one of the best tanks full stop in the game right now, played by some of the best players, so that's why it comes out so high in win rate. 22,075 games, averaging 59.16% win rate. So if you want to get your stats up, this is the beauty to play. It's one of the most damaging medium tanks in the game. It's also got the best win rate. Absolute brute of a tank. 100mm gun, giving it 264 penetration, 330 with skill rounds, 320 average damage. Armor, 110 at the front, 100 at the side, so really good for side scraping, and 228 on that very well rounded turret. Just an absolute brute. So you know what that means. I think it's time to see one of these in action being played by somebody. Hopefully I can find one where he just doesn't spam gold the entire time, but hey, stat twats will do what stat twats do. After that we'll come back and look at the bottom 3 for win rate, the ones you should avoid if you're trying to stat pad. Back right after this. Okay, so my efforts to find a limited gold span game in the Object 907 that was worth watching failed somewhat. So instead we have Pz.Kpfw driving here the Object 907 in a really nice matchup on the new Pilsen map. He's top tier, he's chosen 3. But his team is somewhat lackluster compared to the enemy team, and he's a pretty good player. He's part of the Fear clan, which I believe is one of the better clans in the game. I don't really follow clans, so I don't really know, but he must be pretty good if he's got this tank, because this is one of those ones that only the very best get. It's a good tank which people pimp out with lots of special equipment, and they're very good already. And he got very fortunate there, came flying past, could have been hit by that pattern. Instead he gets a nice shot onto the 257, gets himself into hold down position. Now if this was me, I would be surrounded on the other side. Who's that? Oh, his teammates dropped in front of him. Oh, that's really handy. And what are you trying to do? Push him? Yeah, okay. Well, I'm not the one to say that all super unicums are cocksuckers, but this guy is clearly a cocksucker. Try to push that Centurion out of the way. Now what he was doing there I have no idea, but having got there it was like, well, what do you want the poor guy to go and do? Anyway, he's reached into his wallet and he's taken out skill rounds immediately. He's got a low behind him, and he's decided that's the weakest target to go after. Oh, and there's a... oh my goodness me, it's a mismatch and a half. The T34-2. To be fair, the low is firing premium as well, but the T34-2's got no chance at all against him. Actually wafts that shot, that cost him 1,000 gold or more. And there you go. That's the beauty of armor in this game. Don't get me started. Not going to go through there. I mean, you may be a reasonably good player, but you don't shoot a low through the side of the turret. Puts the shell under the lower plate as he's pulling back, side scrapes, because we know this armor on this thing is extremely good. The low's firing gold. Can't blame him at all. I mean, he's been spam gold himself. He's a tier 8 heavy against a super unicum, oh, not super, a very good player in an extremely good tank. What else is he going to do? I know I'm going on about gold again. Somebody said in one of my videos recently, comments, why do you always go on about gold? If you don't want to use it, don't use it. And it's like, well, it's not really the point, is it? If it's how other people use it. You know, I don't like gold. I use it sparingly, but other people use it excessively, like this guy. So he's burned through all his gold trying to take out some really dangerous tier 8 tanks, and he's off to the races. So we've established he's a bit of a cocksucker for shooting his own team, pushing his own teammate out in front of the enemy, and he's also not afraid to use gold against tier 8s because they need that kind of kill power. Down to his last 2 rounds. Here comes the pattern. Pattern's not paying attention. He wasn't actually paying attention, and then he hit the post. It's like a football match all over again. Look at that. So he's fallible. pulling back. Games, well, it's a typical setup on Pilsen, as it seems to happen now. One team commits reasonably heavily to one flank, and the other team seems to go all out on the other flank, and that's a sign of what's happened here. We've lost control of the 8-9 line. There's another gold shell to a T-34. What's the point of armour? Have I mentioned that? What's the point of armour? Funny enough, I was going to do a quick video on what's the point of armour, and I thought, what's the point? And I started to play a game in the KV5, which is kind of the best tank for showing what's the point of armour. And I played a game, absolutely beautiful game, really enjoyed it. It was like the old days of the KV5. Not a single person fired gold on me. Just to prove my point beautifully. Anyway, not about me, it's about this tank. Comes round, he's put another shot into that Panzer IV, the Patton, and he's down. Right, he has now got this Top Gun already. Less than 5 minutes into the game, Top Gun secured. Game is not secured though, it's 8 plays 9. 8 plays 8 even. Looks like he's got his beady little eye on that T30. Oh, no, there's an artillery instead. And he wafted that shot like crazy. My goodness me. But he picks up the kill. 7th kill. 4,300 damage. Going around for the T30. Is the T30 expecting him? Yeah, he was. Blimey. There's a first. T30 was actually paying attention. Doesn't seem to be doing him any good at all, and he is down. There's an artillery out there. Oof, nice shot. Can he get the other shot before the guy disappears? Yes, he can. That is his 9th kill. And you're seeing this tank in action. In its full glory. It's mobile. It's got a pretty good gun. It's got a bit of armour as well. And you load up with the skill rounds and you're just peachy. Absolute peachy. Can't get a shot on that Polish tank. Nice shot into the Pz.Kpfw. Polish tank is coming forward. Reloaded on him. Nice. Don't turn yourself over. That you'd look even more stupid than you do already. Misses the Pz.Kpfw. Don't know what he, or the Polish tank. 50 TP. Patton bounces the shell off his turret. It's 11 plays 12. His team have completely folded. He's got all the kills so far. Oh, sorry, tell a lie. There's an AMX got 1 kill. So they've got 10 kills so far. He's got 9 of them. And he's using this mobility again. He's brawled for a bit. Still got a lot of health. He's still got 1,150 left. But he's going to learn leave his Ferdinand all alone and exposed, because, you know, what do? You don't support your team when you're a good player, do you? I'm being really harsh, but I mean it. So he's taken. Oh, there goes the enemy our artillery taken out by the Pz.Kpfw. There's just that poor Ferdinand on his own in the building. Where are we going? Where is he going? I think he's going after the enemy artillery. I mean, you know, why? But he is. Leave his own Ferdinand just exposed while he goes out for an extra kill. That's teamwork, that is. WoT Tanks teamwork. Where is the artillery? Someone's in the cap. Patton's coming back. Can we get a shot on him? Yes, we can. Nice shot. Patton turned round. Oh, there's 2 on our cap now. That'll be the artillery and Pz.Kpfw probably. Takes a shot, ram him to death. That is his 10th kill. Whoa, takes a big hit from the Polish tank. wafts his replies. Only 20 seconds left. He does reload pretty quick. He takes the tracking shot on the 50 TP. Ferdinand does a brilliant job and sets him on fire. Must be the artillery that's got all the cap points. Brilliant, nicely done. He may be a jerk off, but he's a good player. Oh no, it's the Progetto in there. I thought it'd be the oof. I thought it would be the artillery. Can he get a shot on the Progetto? Nice. Oh no, it hit the dead hull again. That's better. Nice shot. Now been spotted. Where's the enemy artillery? We've not seen that at all. Progetto's going in balls deep on the Ferdy. Ferdy's on full health. My goodness me. And takes him down. Right, we've got 11 kills. Can we get the 12th? This thing is just evil. As a tank, it is just a brute. Look at it. Squat, reasonably fast, good gun, got some armour, and it's Russian. I mean, you know, what else do you want in a tank? There is nothing else you want in a tank, I assure you. Artillery out there somewhere for our 12th kill, sorry. Still got this froggy cough. Where is the arty? Came down this way earlier, didn't see him. I don't know where he's gone. Reloaded with an HE shell. Don't know what he's doing now. Is he just firing random shots? I think he is. Oh, I know what he's trying to do. He's trying to blow off all his ammo so that he's only got one shell left. What a... Yeah, I love this guy. He's just wonderful. So he's blown off all bar one shell. Be really funny if he couldn't get the final kill, wouldn't it? So he wants to get the Fallon's medal. Is it Fallon's medal? The one that's last kill with your last shell. It's kept 2 in the chamber. Because that thing needs 2 hits, does it? No, disaster. And he wastes his shot because he wants to get this Faden's medal. Oh, comes around and takes him for the kill. Oh my goodness me. What a sucker. So what to say about that? I mean, yeah, it's a tosser driving a tosser's tank, but driving it really, really well. 12 kills, manipulated the game to get his Faden's medal there. Where it is? There you go, Faden's medal. One of the rarest medals in the game. He kind of devalued it rather a lot there by blowing off all his last, but nearly came unstuck because that Ferdinand taking most of the health of the artillery, he then had to waste a shot. Ferdy nearly took him down. I was so hoping he would, but he didn't. And managed to take down the last 90 hit points of the artillery with his last shell for the Faden's medal. Demetriou's medal for taking down 3 artillery in one game. That's an also extremely rare medal these days. Pool's medal for 10 or more kills, and of course Top Gun. Obviously aced it. Obviously Spotter, Hand of God, Bruiser. All these medals will come when you do have that kind of game. He got 7,136 damage, 12 kills, 1652 base XP. Fired 45 shots, hit with 33, penned with 28. Took 10 hits himself through it, 3 of which penned, 7 bounced off that ridiculous armour. And 2,000 assistance damage as well. 102,000 credits, was running some kind of bonus as well. But after all the golds, after running out all the shells, all the gold spamming he did, he ended up making just under 4,000 profit. Would have been a 40,000 loss without premium count, and 2,602 XP. So there you go. The winningest tank in the game, the Object 907. Okay, so we've seen the best. Let's see the rest. The bottom 3 for win rate. The ones you should avoid if you're looking to keep your stats high and play this game. One real surprise here in this list, and you know, it's always a fun thing to do if you've got nothing better to do. Go and have a look at VB Addicts stats. I thoroughly recommend it. So, according to them, there are 500 tanks in the game right now. So the bottom 3, number 3 from the bottom, is this American Tier 3 artillery self-propelled gun, the T18 HMC. Now I forget now. This reminds me of, there used to be a tank destroyer in the game, T18 tank destroyer, which I absolutely adored. It was the most fun you could have. It had a big derpy gun on it, and they got rid of it some time ago, and looks like they converted it to artillery. Somebody can probably correct me. This thing is woeful though. Only 1,882 games. It's on a bit of a branch on the tech tree, so you probably wouldn't go down it unless you were absolutely desperate. But I would certainly avoid it if these stats are believed. So 46.36 average win rate in this brute. 75 pounder howitzer. You know, artillery generally has a poorer win rate than most other classes, but that is pretty woeful. So that's your number, well, 498 in the charts. The American Tier 3 artillery, the T18. So I was absolutely gobsmacked to see that this thing, the AMX CDC, the Tier 8 French premium medium tank, is second from bottom on win rate in the game right now. 499th out of 500 tanks. This a lot of games, 28,347 games, 46.31 win rate. And it's weird because back in the day when this thing came out, it was the Unicum's tank of preference. It's a very, very fast vehicle. Absolute bombs around the battlefield. What's it? Top speed 57, 20 in reverse, 34.64 power ratio. Spins around at 46.13 degrees per second. It's got a pretty reasonable gun on it. What is it? 90mm. There you go. 212 average pen, 259 with the premium rounds, 240 average damage, dispersion of 0.34. So pretty accurate for a big ass gun. Its problem is complete and utter lack of armor. 30, 20, 20. And that's the same on the turret, 30, 20, 20, which means big guns auto pen this thing, and if you see it, you just load HE and chances are you're going to absolutely wreck its day. But even so, I'm really surprised how poor it is. My win rate in it is 53%, but I don't play it very often anymore because I think the meta's completely balls this one over, but which is probably why it's dropped like a stone in the charts. But there you go, 499th in terms of win rate, 46.31%. How the mighty have fallen. And so what's the worst tank for win rate right now in the game? Well, again, a little bit surprise for me actually. This is the T1 Cunningham. Most of you won't remember playing this one. This was the Tier 1 American light tank. The first tank many of us played with, and actually for a long time in team battles this was a stalwart of teams because it was always rated to be the one of the better Tier 1 light tanks, inverted commas, and in those days you could make up, there was a certain number of points you had to get in terms of tiers for your team, and what people did was they would take 3 or 4 of these Cunninghams to basically act as scouts for the team, and then that meant they could spend more points on bigger armoured, higher tier tanks in the rest of the team. And that used to be the standard format, and lots of people kept Cunninghams for a long time, and then Wargaming changed the system and sport the fun. 3,616 games, 46.28% win rate for this little baby. Again, how the mighty have fallen. I thought there were far worse Tier 1 light tanks out there, but clearly not. So there you go. That is the top and bottom win rate tanks in the game right now. The winningest and the losiest tanks, according to VB Addicts, looking at stats for all servers across the last 30 days, and all tanks of all tiers. Couple of surprises there. Not that the Object 907 is top, that does not surprise me in the slightest. It's such a fantastic tank. But some of the others a little bit less, a bit more surprising. But I'd love to know what you think, so let me know in the comments down below. As I say, I really appreciate knowing what you think, whether you were surprised by it, whether you thought the CDC would be higher. I didn't think it was a great tank, but I didn't think it was the worst tank. The T18E, number 5 win rate, wow. In fact, just outside of number 5 is the tank you don't see very often, the FCM 36 Pack 40, a little tank destroyer, which was an absolute brute. I have that in my garage, great fun. The Grosstraktor is at number 9. The 50 TP, the new Polish tank, is at number 10. There's some amazing numbers. I wish I could reproduce the entire list, but I can't. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. In the meantime, enjoy your games, have fun, try not to take it too seriously, and I'll see you again soon. This is Gamer Dom signing out.